Hey everybody, Christian Nix here, also known as Barefoot Doctor. This is Barefoot Medicine Training, where I teach you how ancient healing secrets help you live better and recover from and manage chronic conditions. In this short video, I want to talk about an announcement that came out last week from Robert F. Kennedy, the head of the Health and Human Services in the U.S. But first, from 2005 to 2016, I got to work with and alongside doctors in big-time hospitals in North America, including the world-famous Cleveland Clinic. I also traveled and taught MDs and nurses on 4 continents and in 2 separate languages about a simple, ancient self-healing system that I discovered while living in the mountains of Central America. What makes my journey and teaching career in mainstream medicine unusual is that I never attended medical school. I apprenticed with an old healer man, what's called a curandero in indigenous Maya culture. Working inside mainstream medical facilities was eye-opening and heartbreaking. I eventually left medicine in 2017 to become a writer. Why? Because I realized I wasn't going to live long enough to make any serious impact on the medical system in my lifetime. The mainstream medical system is not what most people think it is, unless you already have a certain excess of cynicism. It is not run by doctors. It's run by accountants and administrators who do the bidding of pharmaceutical companies. What's in the patient's interest is way down the list of priorities when it's considered at all. That's why I've kept an eye on RFK and his role at the HHS. Last week I saw something interesting in an update that I thought I would comment on for you. So here we go. This was posted on Twitter. RFK announces health insurance breakthrough that affects nearly 260 million Americans. Wow. This is a monumental accomplishment, breakthrough decades in the making. Here's what's changing and why it can save you time, stress, and money. Okay, awesome. In a press conference hosted today, RFK and CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz announced a landmark agreement with the nation's largest health insurers to tackle the #1 health priority plaguing hundreds of millions of Americans, prior authorization. Prior authorization is, and they explain what it is, right, where patients have to get advanced approval from insurance company. You call your insurance company, you say, hey, do you guys cover this, right? It's meant to control costs, but for 85% of Americans, it's a serious barrier to care. Well, no kidding. Understand that the medical system as it exists, it has a built-in conflict of interest that cannot be denied. I've never understood why people pretend like this doesn't impact the quality of care in the US. I mean, obviously the insurance companies care most about making a profit. They don't particularly care about any individual. It's not like they sit around and have nightmares about the fact that they're denying care to people who are suffering and dying and, right, can't get the kind of treatments they need. They don't think of you that way. I mean, the incentive is to make sure that they pay out and cover as few things as possible. And since it's not a black and white thing, there's all kinds of gray area where they get to decide, yes, we cover this, no, we don't cover that. And so I've never understood why people pretend that it's otherwise, right? Obviously, the financial conflict of interest that exists within the US medical system is a total, complete catastrophe. And this has been going on for decades, so nobody should be surprised by that. Dr. Oz says, doctors like myself are continuing struggling with this issue, explaining how the bureaucratic process works. In 2023 alone, Medicare Advantage, which covers 32 million people, initially denied 3.2 million prior authorization requests. So I guess they approved it, or it was like prior authorized, and then they simply didn't pay it, right? They simply said, well, I know we said we were going to cover it, but we're not going to cover it. You have to pay it, right? Dr. Oz made it clear these are not just numbers, they represent individuals. Exactly, right? These are people who need help, right, and can't get it. The burden also falls heavily on physicians. In all my time in medicine, I did not meet many doctors who were terribly thrilled that they were in medicine. They get into medicine to help heal people. And then, surprise, surprise, right, most of the gig involves all kinds of administrative paperwork and overhead, right? They have to, running a clinic and seeing patients is has very little to do with healing people. I mean, if that happens, that's wonderful, but primarily what they are doing is, right, they got to fill out forms and check insurance authorizations and, right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I did not meet many doctors in my time in medicine who were happy being doctors. They typically don't last. 20 years, a long career for a doctor, because you burn out, right? They work 52 weeks a year. Doctors get almost no time off. And so when you look at the medical system, when you look at the financial conflict of interest, obviously the heavy influence of pharmaceutical companies to push drugs, right? Just like any other drug dealer, these people want their products sold and on the shelves and being distributed by doctors. Obviously that influences treatment room protocols and doctor thinking and behavior and patient outcomes. If you enjoy this channel and benefit from learning about ancient medicine and how it can help people with modern chronic conditions like yours, then you'll love my new book, The Patient Empowerment and Self-Care Manifesto. There's 112 pages of simple, easy-to-understand wisdom from ancient medicine with its elegant system of pattern diagnosis for helping regular people understand the exact root causes of hundreds of chronic conditions, the exact chronic conditions modern medicine cannot help you with. You'll also discover what steps you need to take to reclaim your sovereignty over your health and your recovery. In it, I delve deep into the 4 areas that affect your body's ability to recover from a chronic condition: diet, targeted exercises, state of mind practices, and simple remedies and treatments anyone can use, and which specific steps you need to take in what order if you want to activate and control your body's own self-healing resources. I promise you, this book is unlike anything you've ever seen or read before in the fad diet, biohacking, fad fitness, fad health and wellness, fad everything new age industries. Once you read Patient Empowerment and Self-Care, you'll never think about your health or chronic illness the same ever again. You can get a free copy of my Patient Empowerment and Self-Care Manifesto and ask me questions directly twice a month on my Ask Me Anything coaching calls when you take a trial membership to my private community, the Nix Institute for Self-Healing and Integration. The link is in the description. This is kind of supposed to all be about. Under RFK's leadership, things are changing for the better. Well, let's hope so. The HHS press release announced today that health insurance pledged 6 key reforms aimed at cutting red tape. Well, look, we'll see. These changes aim to ensure that patients and their doctors no longer have to battle insurance companies just to access common treatments like imaging, outpatient surgery, and physical therapy. Okay, well, let's see. The cooperating insurers include United Healthcare. Of course, it was United Healthcare CEO. His name was Brian something, who was shot to death in New York City. I mean, the problem in the U.S. medical system has gotten to the point and is so bad that there's violence committed against people running the insurance companies. I am not cynical about this update. I'll give you my comments and my actual reaction once I'm done commenting on it here. Speaking as a patient, right, this guy has ALS, that's amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, dreadful condition, no doubt. He's saying, I guess he's an actor. RFK stepped up to the podium. He shared during presidential transition, he was told the single most important thing he could do to improve patient experience was to end the scourge of pre-authorization. That's what he did. You have to admire the man. He's a rare bird in politics. He has at least some semblance of integrity that he was obviously despised, right, for going after both drug companies and people polluting the water, and he has a long track record of prosecuting people who are up to no good. Kennedy shared a chilling account of what would happen when doctors dared to put patients before insurance company policies. He described a patient from New Jersey who was suffering severe heart failure, transferred to New York Presbyterian. The transplant itself, for a life-saving transplant itself had been approved, but shockingly, the mechanical heart pump needed to keep the patient alive until the transplant could take place was denied. With the patient already in the operating room, the medical team faced an impossible choice: follow the insurer's decision or let the patient die, or act to save his life, risking their careers. And they chose to implant the device. The patient survived, ultimately received the transplant. Kennedy revealed that my friend, the doctor, was then sued by the insurance company for defying the denial. That lawsuit was later dropped, but Kennedy said the ordeal highlights the madness of a system that punishes doctors for putting patients ahead of insurance companies. Okay, so you get the gist of this, right? They're saying that they're tackling this and that it's actually going to bring about a positive change. I genuinely hope so. This time is very different, he said, for one reason. 257 million patients are covered by the group that we met with this morning. It's unprecedented. What truly sets us apart is the structure. We have standards this time. We have deliverables. We have specificity on those delivered metrics, deadlines. We have oversight. Kennedy ended his speech calling prior authorization reform a monumental accomplishment, breakthrough decades in the making. Highlighted Congressman Greg Murphy, who's been fighting to address the issue for 35 years. Now real change is underway. Kennedy thanked the insurance companies and the hospital system for stepping up. Special credit to Trump. We hope to see the dividends of success immediately for hundreds of millions of Americans, literally hundreds of millions of Americans, American patients. The summary: 85% of Americans are affected by prior authorization delays. In 2023, Medicare denied 3.2 million prior authorization requests. Doctors spent an average 12 hours handling paperwork per week on prior authorization. RFK secured agreement covering 257 million Americans. It's the majority of the country. 6 major reforms are pledged: standardized electronic submissions, reducing service requiring by approval, honoring authorizations during plan changes, improving transparency, expanding real-time decisions, and ensuring clinical denials are reviewed by medical professionals. Unlike past effort, these deals include clear metrics, deadlines, and CMS oversight. We have standards, we have oversight. It's a monumental accomplishment to fix a broken system. Beautiful. Now, that's all well and good, and that may or may not be encouraging. I like to think there are still people who understand what's happening in the U.S. and that it has to change. The U.S. medical system has to change. There has to be a shift away from, hey, how much money can we make by keeping people sick and keeping them coming back? In science, it is largely understood that no new ideas get to take over until the older generation dies and gives way to the next generation, the rising generation. I see the same thing happening in U.S. institutions. There's no real reason to believe that this will be different, but everybody should be encouraged, and I'm not trying to throw a wet blanket over it. Everyone should be encouraged that there's still people like RFK with enough integrity to try to shake things up and to move in a direction that's good for the population, the patient population. I mean, that's what medicine exists for, right? In the end, trying to help people get well, the patient seeking healing has to have some kind of priority. Priority is a word that gets misused a lot. It means the number one thing. Patient care is the priority, and it has not been for a long time in the U.S. healthcare system. That's why I left. Right now I happen to be in beautiful Medellin, Colombia at the moment, and I can tell you that the medical care here is in every way equal to or better than anything you can get in the United States, and I ought to know. I spent enough time in U.S. hospitals working and looking how things are done. In terms of quality, it's certainly comparable. I mean, it's a major city. Any normal service that you would need, I'm not talking about like laser proton brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors. That, you know, maybe they do that here. Maybe you're better off doing that in the US, but that's pretty rare. Like, you don't need something that radical. Most of the care that you would need is right here. And in terms of cost and convenience, it's a completely different league. There's no waiting, there's no insurance headaches and BS, there's no filling out 25 pages. Don't you hate it? Like, you go to the doctor's office and you walk in and there's like 25 pages you have to fill out, and you fill out the same information over and over again. Like, what's your SSN? What's your condition? Do you have this? Did you, right? What meds are you on? It's like, you guys can't standardize that? Like, you do none of that here. You walk in, you get seen on time, immediately, brand new, high-tech, high-quality equipment, excellent doctors, most of whom have trained either in the US or other major medical schools. So everything is comparable or better. And, right, the kicker is, right, not only is it first class in every way, even paying out of pocket, it's about a third what you would pay in the US. No kidding. No kidding. I mean, we take care of we travel and do medical checkups, and right, you need an imaging, you need an MRI, just pay for it out of pocket in a place like Medellin. It's cheaper than the US, even if your insurance covers it, you know, taking into account premiums and copays and everything else, right? And all the three-ring circus that is the insurance world in US medicine. But that's not why I shot this video. I did this video because whatever results from RFK's attempts to reform the U.S. medical system, you will still have probably, right, in most foreseeable scenarios, some access to emergency care, which is what mainstream medicine is really all about. That's what it does best. If you're banged up, if you're seriously injured, if you get hurt in an accident, you can get to an emergency medical room or medical care system, and the results are typically spectacular compared to not having that at all. And so the point is, as long as you have access to the emergency medical system at all, you're in luck. I mean, what a great time to be alive, because something like that exists. For hundreds of thousands and millions of years, nothing like that existed. It's literally in the last 50 to 100 years that emergency medicine is able to, squash infections and keep you alive and mend your bones, right? So, like you break your leg, like you're not lame for the rest of your life. You can heal, right? They'll put you back together, and even serious trauma they can fix. That's the good news, right? But the truth is, no amount of reform to the corrupt U.S. medical system is going to help you with the one thing that it doesn't do well at all, and that's treat patients with chronic conditions. Fortunately, you don't need RFK or anyone else to fix the U.S. medical system, because the medical system I discovered is hands down the best skill set and the best toolbox that you can adopt and apply when it comes to recovering from and managing chronic conditions, any kind of chronic condition. Ancient medicine was designed from the ground up to help patients manage, treat, and recover from chronic conditions. That's all ancient medicine knew. That's all they did. All they focused on was, here's how you heal chronic conditions, and not, you have a chronic condition, I mean, you have symptoms every day. You have symptoms constantly. That's what chronic conditions are. Not you go to the doctor every day for your chronic condition. No, you know how to heal your own chronic condition because you understand the underlying fundamental root disease mechanisms that are causing your problems, that are triggering your symptoms. It's a totally different approach that gives you, the patient, literally dozens of simple ways to quickly improve your chronic symptoms in a way that anyone can learn and apply quickly, like in a matter of hours. If you want to know more, please check out my Nix Institute for Self-Healing and Integration. You'll see a link below this video in the description. And I also put together a wonderful program for people specifically focused on digestive illness. It's called the Pivot Protocol. There's a link below this video as well to give you 5 tips so you can feel better by tomorrow. I want to leave you with this thought. Just knowing and just seeing for yourself that there exists a medical system that can help you heal your serious chronic condition on your own is by itself a step toward healing. Knowing that all the confusion around what's causing what and why am I having this flare up and do I need to take another pill, is it going to help me or is it going to be a dud like the last 5 pills my doctor's given me? What's the effect of the interactions of all these medications? Is it safe to be taking all this for long periods of time? All the kinds of headaches and fears and anxieties and frustrations that you face when trying to deal with a chronic condition using mainstream high-tech modern medicine become completely non-issues once you have the clarity that the ancient medical system I discovered gives you about chronic illness. Please check out the Nix Institute for Self-Healing and Integration below this video. And if you're interested in help with a digestive condition, by all means, get started on your own healing journey using my Pivot Protocol. All the links are in the description. That's enough out of me. Remember, your body knows how to heal on its own. Your job is to control the internal environment that allows your organs to start working together once again so your body does what it was designed to do. Thanks very much. I'll be back with more great stuff.